Let's talk about anxiety. First of all, I want to say every single human being has or does struggle with anxiety. It's a natural way of being human. When we are walking through this world, we are perceiving all the time whether or not we're safe. And in that perception, we can drop into a place where the story we begin to tell ourselves is that we are not safe, even if the signals around us are trying to signal safety. And that becomes a chronic problem. And the way we can deal with this is through somatic practices, getting into our bodies and signaling safety, but also with our imagination, because anxiety is the fear of an imagined future. That's where it stems from. And so we can begin to engage our imagination and nurture our imagination by telling a different story. There's 3 stories we can tell ourselves in any given scenario. And the first story might be, I have to do something about this now or else. And this really is the heart of where anxiety lives. It's where that fear of an imagined future dwells. And if we don't do something about it now, that imagined future might come true. The second story that we might tell ourselves is, I just can't. And it's a bit of a story of collapse, of shutdown, where that anxiety and the energy of the anxiety just becomes too much. And we sort of wallow in the circumstance of that fear of imagined future by just shutting down. There's another story we can tell ourselves, though. And this story is the story that's able to look at the belief system behind that fear of an imagined future, is able to look at that story and say the opposite. So, for instance, I might have a belief and a story around my sense of competency. It might manifest, that anxiety might manifest when I'm trying to do a video like this. Like, who do I think I am sharing this information? I'm not even that competent. Okay, so that's a core belief, that that fear of imagined future would be, people are just going to listen and think I'm stupid. Okay, so I have to do something about this now. That story would say, I just need to study all the time and learn as much as I can and not share it with anyone, which leads me into the I can't story, right? Or I can look at myself and in my imagination, imagine myself as somebody who's competent, even if I don't feel it. Just imagining that competency is there, and when I share it with people, their reaction is to receive whatever it is I'm sharing with a sense of encouragement and adoration and acceptance. And so I can just begin to start massaging that in my imagination, tending to it like a little garden, just gently. It's not a trying to tell myself off or anything like that. It's just a gentle tending to of I am competent. And the more I begin to speak I am competent and engage that, what that looks like in my imagination, to be able to speak without a stutter, to be able to speak with an embodied knowledge, knowing that what I'm sharing is a gift, then the anxiety disappears. There's no place for it, because the imagined future is now something I'm imagining as fluid and reciprocal and open. I think on a practical level, this is what it looks like to go through the process of being transformed by the renewing of your mind. I really believe in the way somatic practices can communicate the body's language. So finding ways to engage the breath and do havening hugs and seek co-regulation with others to help our nervous systems to relax and come into a state of safety and calm. But also, our imaginations are a big part of this. And so when we begin to spiral into a season of anxiety, or those feelings that come with anxiety, to not only engage the breath and practices that can signal safety to the nervous system, but also engage your imagination and pay attention to the story you're telling yourself. Because you have control over the story you tell yourself.